Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. So, am I still in a pandemic? I'm still in a pandemic. Where have I got Guyana? Alright, so France is no longer affected. So let's go slow here and figure out where I'm over taxation capacity. And then I can just downsize. Because that's really, I think, what's partially causing my cash flow problems here. So I'll go to this. Well, this doesn't have a reduce option. Okay, Southern Anhui I actually do need to build up. That should be enough. First, let's grab all the locations that were a little short and build up a few. And then we're already maxed out. So Ile-de-France, we've got way too much. I can lose... Hold on. How much... I always mess up these numbers. 30 taxation capacity for level. So theoretically, per level. So, a lot of these places in China, I can lose 10 levels without... So Suzhou, Nanjing, Shandong, Jiangsu, and Northern Anhui. Shandong, Suzhou, Jiangsu, and Northern Anhui. I can lose 10 levels without creating a problem for myself. Yes, and we're still good. Let the week tick over, and now, how are we looking now with it? Okay. Nanjing, I can still lose. Frankly, all of those areas, I could lose more. Nanjing, I could lose more. Well, okay. Shandong, Suzhou, and Nanjing, I could lose. So Shandong... Nanjing is here. Lose out 5. What was the other one? Oh man, I'm terrible at this. Nanjing I'm going to cut more, and Suzhou I'm going to cut more. Alright. Alright, we're doing it. We're doing it live. Alright, so that's going to help my cash flow a little bit. Now there are some areas in France. Now that we've done that, there are some areas in France that are also overdeveloped that I can lose out. So we'll sort by taxation. So, okay, so Ile-de-France, I can actually cut really a bunch. Languedoc, I can lose. Rhône, I can lose. Languedoc and Rhône and Ile-de-France. Those are the main areas. So Languedoc. Boop. Rhône. Boop. And Ile-de-France, I'm actually going to cut 20 levels. So that's significantly better cash flow. Let's see how it looks. We're still going up in population, right? Yeah. Okay, alright, so we're still looking really good. Dahomey I can lose a bunch. Gambia I can lose a bunch. Dahomey. Oh, Dahomey's a sub... No, this part of Dahomey. Gambia. Over here. Doop. And then... anywhere else I can afford to make significant cuts. Auvergne-Limousin, Wallonie. Northern Anhui, Jiangsu, and Zhejiang. Okay. Auvergne-Limousin. Lose them. Wallonia. Just drop all of them. Yeah, there we go. And then there are a bunch more states in China that I can cut. So once again, we'll do this one more time. Zhejiang, Jiangsu, Northern Anhui, and Hebei. Zhejiang. Jiangsu. How's this for good gameplay? Northern Anhui. And Hebei. It was Hebei, right? Yeah, it was clearly Hebei. And then... Southern Madagascar, I could cut a bunch of levels. Dahomey, Languedoc, Normandy. I could really lose all my levels in Dahomey? I guess I can. Stop moving. Languedoc. Really? Okay, okay. And then Normandy, that's Brittany, that's not Normandy. Yeah, I can lose a bunch out of here. Am I experiencing some kind of population decline? Is that what's happening here? Let's take a quick look. Obviously, Ile-de-France is way over. How much do we have in Ile-de-France? We're really, really high on taxation capacity in Ile-de-France. I can lose a bunch of taxation capacity in Ile-de-France. Maybe even a comical amount. Let's just let it tick over to another week before I drop another 10. Yeah, we're still way over. I'll lose another 10. Let's do it. Okay, now we're a little short. Alright, that's weird. Right, because those early modifiers. Hey, we're done with the flu. Alright, so I'll just throw 5 in there. We'll throw in 1 more, just to make things nice and balanced. And then we'll be good. Alright, so our economy is tightened up. Now, let me just quickly take a look and make sure we're at a population... Can't really see growth over time in the metropole, so that's a little bit difficult. But I think we're mostly doing okay. Yeah, we got high migration attraction in a lot of these areas compared to the rest of the customs union. So we're doing well. Alright, so that should be fine. And how are we doing in Ile-de-France? Still a little low. What happened here? Am I stupid? Wait, before I build more, they're still hiring. That's what's happening. I'm like, what? Did I goof it? Yeah, okay, yeah. So they're hiring now, and then they'll be good to go. Alright. However, that has tanked standard of... Well, something has tanked standard of living. We did finish out the flu pandemic. How are we doing for cash flow? We're paying 40k in interest, which is not ideal, but it's alright. So what can I do here? One thing I could do... Okay, so we are losing out taxes. Cash convoys are doing fine. And we have some electricity shortages. We have some transportation shortages. Those are more urgent because those take longer to deal with. And we have some market access problems as well. So, let's do market access first. Oran, Constantine, Eastern New Guinea, Kasai, and Southern Anhui. Southern Anhui, we are short. See, why are we short taxation cap here now? I don't get it. 2 levels of infrastructure. 2 levels of government. Right? It's not that much. Oop, hold on. Yeah, it's only 2 levels. It's only 2 levels. We're gonna get 30 each, and that's gonna get us there. Constantine, Oran, and Kasai. We're going to need 2 levels here. Oran... Oh my gosh. My North African geography is quite weak, it turns out. And then Kasai is way down here. Do we have a population crisis? Yeah, we do. Alright, so that simply is what it is. We have an electricity shortage. I don't know how to deal with this. Kasai is having a population crunch that I can't solve. None of these unemployed pops want to work in all the businesses that exist here. It's a problem. Hey, nobody wants to work anymore. Eastern New Guinea, a chronic unsolvable problem. Can't do anything about that. Gonna have to steal the rest of the state from the British and see if we can right the ship, but that's a me later problem. Opium addiction. Gosh dang it. North German people are experiencing severe effects of opium addiction. The use and abuse of the substance has spread throughout Inner Mauritania. The opium eater lies under the weight of incubus and nightmare. He is in sight of all he would fain perform, just as a man forcibly confined to his bed by the mortal languor of a relaxing disease, who is compelled to witness injury or outrage offered to some object of his tenderest love. He curses the spells which chain him down from motion. He would lay down his life if he might but get up and walk, but he is as powerless as an infant, and cannot even attempt to rise. Perhaps you can treat this as a medical matter. Okay, so that's what it is. Now... Alright, so transportation shortages in Fujian, Southern Anhui, Zhejiang, and Hebei. Fujian, how much do we need? A lot. And how much do we produce for each one with our tremendous production methods? 20 per level? That doesn't sound right. 35 per level. So 35 per level, we're going to need about 10 levels. Fujian, Southern Anhui, Hebei, and Zhejiang. In Zhejiang, we're short by... Wow, we're going to need, like, 20 levels. Southern Anhui, we are short by... yeah, about 20 levels worth. And then Hebei, was it? Yes. Hebei. How much are we short by here? Realistically more than 20 levels, but let's start with 20 levels and then see where we go. Alright, and then electricity shortage, we got Constantine Burgundy, or Lenneberry. So we'll start there. Constantine... Do I have the capacity to go to oil turbine? What does it take if I want to go to oil turbine? Let's ask that first. 25 per level. I got about 1,200 levels of power plants. So, math, that's going to be 60,000, right? No, 30,000. 30,000 oil. And how much oil have I got? Oh, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, friends. I'm gonna have to become a big oil importer. But I think it's worth. Well, hold on. Where's coal in all this? Where is coal in all this? Coal is not an industrial good? You jerking my peanuts right now? Staple good, perhaps? No. You sure? Maybe I am simply scrolling too fast and being too foolish. Alright. Never mind. Let's just... We'll do it with no filter. Is hashtag no filter still a thing? Okay, so coal is very affordable. Let's stay on coal. I think we need to stay on coal for power. Okay, so... Alright, Constantine and Tunisia. Let me see, so it's 50 per level. So 10 levels in Constantine. Tunisia... We're going to need 6 more levels. Provence. Well, let's put 1 in Limburg to start. Burgundy, we're going to need a bunch. Let's just basically double the number of levels. And we'll go up to a nice even 45, just for good measure. Ornane-Berry, let's throw in an additional 10 levels. That'll get us most of the way there. Niger, 2 more levels. Renanie du Nord, let's double it. And go up to a nice even 25. Niger, we've already done. Kasai, we're good. French Tanganyika, we're good. Southern Anhui, let's build 3 more levels. Zhejiang, not sure what's going on with this. You're underproducing. Let's throw 1 more level in, though, just to be nice. And then we got a bunch of other places. Alright, so Burgundy we've already done. Ornane-Berry we've already done. Poitou-Saintonge and Brittany. We're just going to have to do this alphabetically. My empire is too big, friends. Poitou-Saintonge, we are short by about 400. So let's build 7 levels to get up to a nice even 20. Normandy, we are short by 2,000. Let's build... So it's 50. So that's actually quite a bit. Short by 2,000. Yes, that's 40 levels. Golly. Wait, hold on. This is Normandy. I don't want to be in Normandy. I want to be in Brittany. Normandy is doing okay. Brittany is short by 2,500? Yes. Roughly. So we're going to need a bunch of levels here. 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to do 42. That's going to get us up to a nice even 100. Poitou-Saintonge we already did. Aquitaine, all the way near the top. Let's throw in... We need about 500 here, so let's throw in 10 levels. Languedoc. Okay, L. We're short by about 700, so that's 14 levels. Let's put in 12. We'll get a little bit of a throughput bonus. Provence. We're just going to need another 5 levels, and that'll be fine. Rhône, I think we've already done here. We have not. Let's go with another 10. We'll just do 9. To make it even. Franche-Comté. And then Alsace-Lorraine. We're going to need... Franche-Comté, let's do 5. And Alsace-Lorraine, we're going to need... another 10 levels. Renanie. We already did Renanie du Nord, but we didn't do Renanie itself. Herself. Just need a couple more levels. Alright, and then areas in Africa. We already did Constantine and Tunisia, I believe. Did we do Algiers? Not yet. We'll put a level there. Inner Morocco. We're fine, actually. Alright, so a lot of these areas we're actually genuinely fine. Guinea, are we good to go here? No, we do need to expand facilities in Guinea. A lot of Africa, we're okay. What about Mauritania? Mauritania is... I could use a little bit more. And then Western Sahara, all the way at the bottom here. Yeah, I'll throw in 1 more level, just to be nice. Gabon has a real shortage. Does it have a shortage we can do something about? Doesn't seem so. Kasai is chronic. North Angola. Oh, North Angola is not in France. Ha 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 ha. I'm so good at things. Alright. And then all that's outside my customs union. Alright, let's give that a little bit of time to cook. Whew! I did a lot of construction this time. Friends, I'm sorry. Sometimes these episodes are not great. Devil's Railroad and Kasai. I'm going to say it's too high a price to pay. I need to stop going for that mortality bonus. That mortality increase. The penalty of increased mortality. Definitely not some kind of Malthusian situation in actuality, although I'm playing it like it was. I'm just a dumb cat is the issue. So, let me see. Building a lot of railways. Wow, we're not even building the power plants yet. I am not blessed with an overabundance of construction right now, and I can't afford to build any more because I don't have any money. I say as I have a huge bar of cash flow. My population keeps increasing, but it's a little bit hard to say by how much exactly because I'm adding these enormously populous territories in China, and then I'm seeing population decline because a lot of those areas have people moving out of them because their standards of living are not great. What with those pops being a little bit discriminated and with it just sort of generally... It's hard with a late game economy to manage areas that are high population without super duper high development. It simply is what it is. There's just not a lot of capacity. Excuse me? Joseon is a subject of Spain? That's incredible. How did this happen? Also, Australia. Why are you being goofy, sir? Sir, what is the cause of your goofiness? Your goofiness levels are high. Golly, these trains are taking frickin' forever. Really, because wow, I should have taken the mortality. There's no point. Just throw that at the bottom of the queue. It's not going to get anywhere. Oh man. First election. New parties formed the Union of Rights. That's interesting. Call for the suffrage complete. The Kingdom of France is holding its first election since the voting franchise was extended to women, marking the beginning of a new era in French democracy. Dropping her vote into the ballot box was, in a way, an anticlimactic moment. Getting there, it felt like a real political struggle. It had been loud, disobedient, sometimes violent. The reward was this quiet, orderly exercise of power. Once again, she was a loyal citizen. Only the expectations had changed. Then again, perhaps this is what power felt like. Perhaps that was what made it insidious. She wondered if this had been how those who had denied her up to this point had until now had felt. For a fleeting moment, she hoped she would not get used to it. Equality is a part of our intellectual tradition. Intelligentsia against the feminist ideology, or a great victory for the suffragists. Bartholomew de Langle de Carry, a politician in the industrialists, gets extra popularity. I'm just going to go with the first one. We're going to lock that in. So, we have a Union of Rights as our new party. They are the armed forces. Resistance Party is now only the petite bourgeoisie. Union of Rights is a patriotic party. Let's see what the projected election results look like in a second once they're ready to go. Alright, so it looks like the Democratic Alliance, despite low momentum, is going to carry the day, absolutely. And that I'm completely pleased with. I think maybe Union of Rights will put in second, or do our best to put in second. Armed Forces and Industrialists align well together. The eyes of the electorate have turned to the candidates that seek to acquire a position at the head of the government. As the election approaches, voters debate who would provide the best leadership for the Kingdom of France. I quite like Astuin, mused one of the men at the bar. I couldn't say what it is I agree with him on, but I think he has a good head on his shoulders. His neighbor spoke up. Enough to look past the company he keeps? Why not? God knows you could say the same of any of us. Nobody's better to handle a fool than his friend. Léon Astuin is the man of the hour. Extra for the Resistance Party. A term of Abel de Persigny is what the country needs. Extra for the Republican Party, the intelligentsia. Resistance Party, again, is the petite bourgeoisie. Bartholomew de Langle de Carry has the character for the job. That's Democratic Alliance, the industrialists. Or Mathieu Dubail is worthy of hearing out. He's the Union of Rights, the armed forces. Once again, I'm going to go with the industrialists. That just seems like a sensible way to do things, and let's see how that affects the projected election results. Yeah, there we go. Oh my goodness. A little bit of momentum getting them over that line, over the 0 line. So good. All right. FDFS is lower than it's ever been. Momentum is significantly reduced. But them's the breaks. That's what you gotta do. So probably we'll go until the end of the election cycle. I need to put some... Wow, this is just... This is gonna take forever, this development that I'm currently doing. It's just brutal. Get experience early. An audacious move by Charlotte Dubai saw a crowd publicly divided on a matter close to home. The Democratic Alliance's explicit support of child labor. Step right up, kids, and enjoy a day in the sun. That's right, you get 5 bob a day to pick fruit and play in the grass. And you get time outside your parents are always nagging you about. Get away from them, get out in the sun, and build those strong muscles and birthing hips you'll need for your own families. Help out old man Jenkins today. Don't listen to her kids off to school, reduce momentum, or perhaps Léonce Soulier would like to send a delegation to Charlotte Dubai's workplaces. Significantly reduced momentum, 20% chance she gets the cruel trait. Does that help in anything at all? Not really. Helps as commander. Brutal. Let's just say don't listen to her. So that's wiped out all the gains that I've just added. Well, no, only some of them. But, like, we're still projected to get more than... not more than 50%, but close to 50%. But, you know, we'll keep an eye out. We'll keep an eye on this election. We do need to deal with it in an effective way. Portugal is really making solid inroads in India. Portugal's not... No, you are in... You're not in my power block. Dang, I thought you were in my power block. Tragedy. Well, it is what it is. Oh, that's right. I subjugated the Netherlands, so everyone kind of fell out. A rational discussion. While meeting to discuss ideas, Alphonse Normand and Mathieu de Bayle enjoyed a civil and enlightening conversation. Most expected a brawl, so this is intelligentsia and armed forces. Some say opposites attract, others say opposites repulse. A few understand that one of the natures of opposites is change. Fire and water to steam, spark and gunpowder to explosion, heat and ore to metal. And so it is with good faith debate. A leap in thought to form fresh new ideas. Liberal civility is the way forward, extra momentum to the Republicans. Alphonse Normand's conduct ought to be commended. Not as much momentum, but he gains honorable. Or even the opposition should be heard, extra momentum to the Union of Rights, the armed forces. I'm going to do the third one. Again, I expect to be able to form a coalition with them. Haven't exactly gotten a whole lot running there. But we'll see. We'll see if it winds up a better coalition than the one we've currently got. Almost done with our first round of railroads. And this should mean that we're now working on some of the power stations that we queued in. Nope, not quite yet. We got to get some of these ones done first. Golly. I do want to expand the construction sectors, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem ideal. Kindly burn this letter. Mathieu de Bayle, a prominent member of the Union of Rights, has been accused of gross corruption. He strenuously denied all allegations until damning letters surfaced, signed by him. Yes, I am willing to discuss the contents of the letters with the committee, if only I'm given time to study the content of the letters in my personal chambers first. Of course, on my honor, I will not alter or destroy any of the evidence. Honest. Their allies, the Union of Rights, who can speak in his defense, reduce momentum for them. This is available because we've got a charismatic agitator. Union of Rights should stand by him and deny everything. Reduce momentum, but much more than the bottom one. I didn't read them in order. I read the bottom one first. The first one's actually Union of Rights should stand by him and deny everything. And the second option is Mathieu de Bayle should be isolated to protect the rest of the Union of Rights. I'm going to actually pick the middle one. I don't want to reduce their momentum, and him losing popularity is not that big of a deal long term. in terms of the election results as a whole. Positivist revolt in Lanfan, which is still simply a tiny country. I haven't done a lot of expansion in Southeast Asia, which I often do. Maybe I'll eat some chunks of the Ottoman Empire. That'd be fun. It'd be fun. I'm getting down there in infamy. I could stand it. I could stand it. Even though I love consuming chunks of China, I could definitely get a bunch of oil by just slicing off this whole eastern bit. How much would it be, really? 19.2 infamy. Okay, a lot. Oh, because they're recognized, well that makes sense. Alright, modern financial instruments, that's wonderful. Production and agitation. In collaboration with the Union of Rights, Roland Rapelin has secured a deal for cheap and quickly distributed pamphlets in support of the party. The interior of the carriage held a pleasant surprise. A crate of several thousand pamphlets, printed on an industrial scale, each with the instructions of the voting process, and a cheaply copied logo of the Union of Rights. They made for a hefty weight, and he hoped would turn out to be an equally sized benefit. Bury our opponents in a sea of paper, 20% momentum, or these connections can be used later, 10% momentum, and he becomes ambitious. Let's just go with the momentum. Maximum effect on the election. This is going to put the Union of Rights above the Republican Party. Not that I have a problem with the Republican Party having a lot of momentum. Again, I would love to get a little bit more momentum behind the Democratic Alliance, but I don't know that I necessarily can for now. Did I subjugate Belgium? Not yet. But I could in 1 year. That would be nice. I would love to have full control over the Low Countries. That would give me a very, very strong position in Europe. Am I building those power stations yet? I am, finally. I am finally building power plants. And just a heap of them. Oodles, in fact. You might say, if you were inclined to be saying, you might say oodles. Oodles of power plants. Alright, so, election is kicking off pretty soon. Again, I wish I could put a little bit more behind the Democratic Alliance, but them's the bricks. I don't know if I've ever seen the industrialists have a really strong party, although they only do because I'm at wealth voting. Because that's the way things go. So, we're at a legitimate government, and here we go. If I can put the armed forces and the industrialists together, I can have a maximally legitimate government. And that's what I want. Will I still be legitimate if I raise taxes? Yes, I will. It's not ideal. Again, I have a tumbling standard of living, which doesn't feel good, and I'm not really sure why. I wonder if this is being affected by... So, like, the metropole seems to be pretty high standard of living, right? Let's take a look here. Yeah, the metropole has very solid standard of living. I wonder if it's actually taking non-incorporated areas into account. Ooh, Provence is really high standard of living. As does Ile-de-France. Yeah, so I wonder if it's including incorporated, unincorporated territories there, and that's why that number is dropping, even though France herself is the European France is fully standard of living. Like these areas are. Oh no, these are other incorporated territories in Africa are also reasonably high standard of living. So yeah, I think it's just that. I think it's just that it includes all these areas that we've lately conquered. How long till I can subjugate the Belgians? Still 1 year. Sadness. Joseph de Morny has died, leaving me with a command gap in the Mediterranean Squadron, which I will fill with our meticulous man, Auguste Guillaume. Nice. All right. Accidentally rotated the view. Haha! But were you expecting a Let's Play with reverse France? Yes! All the way upside down. Hell yes. Alright. You can't... It won't leave it that way. Tragically. Tragically. It would be interesting if I could get that to happen. Maybe I'll experiment in my off time to see if I can... See, maybe I'll play a country in the global south, and I'll turn it over so that the North Pole is at the top of the screen. That'd be interesting. All right, we got events. We got events, and then I'll pull the trigger on ending the episode. Someone's got the end of spring, them's the brakes. Supporting the Russian workers. We will support the workers in Prussia. Sorry, Prussian workers. I misread. We will support the workers in Prussia, boosting the power of the trade unions. Maybe we believe in the international cause of the working man, maybe we don't. In the end, it doesn't matter. What matters is that the Prussian trade unions get stronger. An excellent idea. Political migration. The rich and unstable political environment in the Kingdom of France has proven attractive to political exiles and stateless people, who have begun to congregate in the coffee houses of Paris. Oh, Paris, you flawed yet fiery jewel, where else could one see 3 different demonstrations within a 5 minutes walk? They're welcome to join the Sea of Voices. We get extra prestige, extra radicals from political movements, and Gisbert Hassenplup joins the country. He's a communist aligned with the trade unions. Or these people make a mockery of the Kingdom of France, reduce prestige, reduce radicals from political movements. I got a lot of radicals. I'm actually going to take the prestige hit to not get a communist agitator and not have extra radicals from political movements, because I got quite a few radicals. But how many of them are in China? Seems like most. So, yeah, a lot of them align with the trade unions, the rural folk, which is interesting. Anyway, that is all the time we got for this episode, my nerds. I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun as well, and I will see you on the other side.